Morning, everybody. Denice Garrou here again, and those of you who know me, you know that I write books, I write visionary fiction, um, fantasy, paranormal, magical realism, blah, 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 all that good stuff based on my life's experiences and my journey with gypsy lore and healing with animals, namely horses and dragons. If you saw my other videos, you know about me and my dragons. And I'm not talking about reptilians. I'm talking about the white dragons, the feathered dragons, the golden dragons. But anyways, it is December 29th. And this is after that great wave of the great galactic wave that is supposed to be passing through or hitting our planet, and so many of those are saying that it's the end times. End times for what? Is this the new beginning? And I just find this whole ride like the best movie I've ever seen. And to take part in this and to play a part is just so much fun. And except for when we get stuck back down in the matrix and the 3D experience and negative things happen to us, and then it's not kind of fun, but we always learn from it, don't we? It seems like the harder they try to oppress us and enslave us, the stronger they make us. It's just like the gypsy culture. I mean, everywhere the gypsies went after Genghis Khan, took them out of their 100-year slavery in Afghanistan. They wandered, and everywhere they went, they were not wanted, and they were persecuted, and all it did, and they're still here amongst us, and all it did was make them stronger, and the strongest survived. So I guess that's kind of like what's going on with humanity. Now, Today, I just wanted to talk about dreaming, lucid dreaming, and what goes on in our dream state, and why, and who some of us are. And when I first started waking up, now mind you, from a very small child, I always thought that there was something I came here to do. And I was brought up in a family that parents were very oppressed and asleep, and I was like the weirdo. Denice is the weirdo. You never know what Denice is thinking. And I was also very emotional. But that's true. You never knew what I was thinking. I was very good at keeping everything inside. But I always knew from very, very young age there was something that I came here to do. And through my child-rearing years, you're stuck in the matrix, and all you're doing is your mundane job, getting up, getting the kids to the daycare, the babysitter, whoever, coming home, cooking dinner, cleaning the house. And so all that I was infiltrated. That's the word. Society, the matrix, infiltrated me and suppressed the reason I came here. I was living how I thought and how I was programmed to live. And we talk about, on the other videos with Zakalu, we talk about programming and our beliefs. And so to get back to the reason I wanted to chat today was about lucid dreaming or dream state. And I hate to use going into the fourth dimension because there's so many views on what's really happening in the fourth dimension. So I don't really think I'm in the fourth dimension. I think I'm still here in this earthly plane doing a job, and I'm doing it in my dream state. But I had to slowly awaken because remember, we all come here, and as soon as we get here, we're blocked. Right away, we're blocked for various reasons. And everybody has their own idea of why we're blocked. Others are learning and growing, and the dark side doesn't want us to shine our light on them and reveal them, and which is partly, I think both of them are correct. But that's a whole nother video. So dreaming. when I was young and still a churchy, and I always had my nose in the Bible. See, I was searching for answers in the Bible, and just searching, and my Bible had red marks all over it. This doesn't make sense. This doesn't jive. What about this? I was always asking questions, And, they program into you about the devil, and you got to worry about the devil. And I tell you what, back then I had some horrible, horrible nightmares. And some of them had the devil, and most of them were people that were after me, trying to murder me. And just when the end came, when they were going to strike the final blow, I would wake up. And just horrible. Some of them were so bad, I couldn't even go back to sleep. I don't know if some of you have experienced this. If you have, let me know. So, some of them were just vivid, and I just could not go back to bed because I was afraid I would go back into that dream. Well, then we had a tragedy when I was still going to church, a family tragedy, and the church that we were going to at the time pretty much shunned us. And so I left the church and walked into a vitamin shop. And, at that time, that's when, herbalism and vitamins and candles, that was all woo-woo. All that woo-woo. Don't go in there. That's that woo-woo stuff. Bad. Well, for some reason, I went into this shop and I saw this brochure, Reiki. And I was like, what is Reiki? Well, the next thing you know, I was a Reiki master. But the night before my very first Reiki class, I had one of those horrible dreams. And it was this Grim Reaper, this guy in this black cloak thing with bony hands, and he came after me, and I did not wake up this time when he caught me. And in this dream, I remember fighting him off, and I remember biting his bony finger, and I remember the coldness and the putrid taste of it to this day. And so for me, that was real. I was in my dream state. I was in a dimension that they were trying to stop me on my path. And I fought him off, and I went on to take all the Reiki courses, and my journey just exploded from there. And here I am today, and doing little videos. Yeah, my channel is small right now, but like anything, you got to start somewhere, and it will grow. And so through those years, and learning and doing the Wicca training and just being absorbed in anything that was Arthurian or dragon or Knights of the Round Table, any of that stuff. I was just fascinated by that. Through those years and all that learning and reawakening, it wasn't really learning, it was remembering it. I was remembering. I still had a few dreams. And I remember I used to have a lot of premonitions about earth changes. I would see the earthquakes. I would wake up and smell the smoke, and my house would, my house would be full of smoke, or a lot of flooding coming in. And my poor husband, I'd be running around screaming, oh, and he'd be like, what? I don't see it. What? I don't see it. And he just learned to just let me do my thing and roll over and go back to bed. And I'm sure many of you have experienced the same stuff. And so then I started seeing spirits, a lot of Native American things, and also shadow people. And they used to scare the crap out of me. And that came right along with dream paralysis. Anybody have dream paralysis where you are paralyzed and you dream and something's after you and you can't move and you can't scream, and that's because you're out of your body, and you're up there where you're not supposed to really be. A lot of them say it's psychic development, and I think part of that is true because I was doing a lot of remembering then. So I was having a lot of shadow people. And, I learned to do battle with them. If they were near me, And my husband would just be like, oh, Denise, yeah, you know, you're dreaming again. And no, I'm not dreaming. They're right here. And they would come. And if they got near me, I would just, I'm sorry, I would just kick the crap out of them. And so I learned to do this instead of going, oh, and hide under the covers. Oh my God, oh my God. It was like, no more. And, you know, I would wake up kicking the sheets and I'm sure a lot of you probably associate with this. So once I learned how to uh, fight them off, they stop appearing. They don't come anymore. And I think I closed a lot of the doors too. You can't come in. I don't want, you know, I don't want you anymore. But I always wondered why. What is all of this? And what is it about me? And why were these things always after me? So, you know, the years that I learned to control it, it subsided and it stopped. And now with all of this last year, with all of this another shift that's going on and the awakening, people awakening, or not really awakening, but remembering who they are and why they came here and what their purpose is. I ran across Alexandra Meters off of Galactic Connection. And, you know, I saw her last year and I just kind of listened to her a little bit and I was like, no. And then all of a sudden, the last couple of months, it's every time I Google something, I'm always led to Alexandra Meters. And so, yeah, I thought, okay, I'm just going to click around her website and see if something pops out. Well, I did catch one of her YouTube videos, and it was about Guardians. And it's like the Guardians. I've never heard of the Guardians. And I'm just wondering, let me see if I can share her page. Let me see if I can share her page. How do I do this? No, I think I gotta go to my desktop. I'm on my desktop. Oh, crap. Oh, wait, what's this? See if okay, there it is. I think you can see it. Okay, so this is her website, and Are You a Guardian? And if you go to this, I mean, she's got all these videos, and it's just really, really cool. And I started reading because I saw this Crusader or Templar. For me, it was like, ooh, you know, Arthurian stuff. And so she talks about the signs that you might be a guardian. And I'll just go through a few of them really quick. We have been outcast by our peers, especially when young. Oh yeah, I was bullied. You know, people just did not like me. But I was also a magnet. People who had problems and issues would always come and dump on me because I was a really good listener. And I almost went into a college to be a psychologist, and then I thought, no, I want to be a veterinarian instead because I always wanted to help animals. I got this affinity for animals, and which is another sign. And I always liked the underdog, which is another sign, the geeks and the nerds. And so I didn't become a veterinarian because I didn't want to cut things open. I just knew instinctively there was other ways of healing that you didn't have to cut things open and draw blood. And, you know, I don't like blood, except for when I'm doing earth magic and I need to connect with my plants. We are independent. We are incessant truth seekers. We are strong advocates of animals. We refer to us as old and ancient souls. We are very loyal to those we love and can catch ourselves telling our friends that we would die for them. I used to say that about my husband. I would just die. I would lay down and die for him. And my kids too, you know. If there was like a weird noise and a ghosty sound up in the room, I would just tromp right up there and I was going to take on whatever it was, save my kids. We hold on our integrity as crucial characteristics to strive for. Some of us are born into military families. We have a lot of cops and stuff that's in our families, a lot of married into the cops. We silently watch the flow of things around us. But you can just go to her website and go through it's galacticconnection.com and just click on the Guardians. But you can see, and a lot of this stuff coincides with the empaths. You know, the empaths feel the same way. But the strange thing was, you know, we tend to be the black sheep of the family, and we suffered from frightening experiences with boogeyman as a child. And I remember seeing the dark things, you know, crawling things on my bed, and, you know, as plain as day, you know. And the weird thing too is people not liking you the first time they meet you. I would walk in a room of women and 90% of them would just turn away from me, or they would not want to know me, or I would go up and talk to them, and after a few sentences, they would just kind of like, oh, I have to go over and talk to someone. Does that ever happen to you? You know, and I just, it was like, what? And the more they did that, the harder I would try. I would go into new groups, which was very painful, and try my best. Okay, Denice, whatever it is, just calm it down and try to fit in with these people. And what it is they sense this great light around you. And a lot of them are pushed away by it. You know, there's just something about you. And a lot of it is jealousy, and which is sad, because there's nothing about me that anybody has to worry about. I mean, I'm just out to try to help people. I'm a great listener, and all I want to do is inspire and help. And that's why I wrote my books, was to inspire people. And people always say that about me. Oh, you always have such great things to say. You always inspire me. And I did this because of your words. And so that's why I came here. That's what I came here to do. But she talks about the Guardians, and part of it was our affinity with, okay, I'm going to try to turn this on and hopefully I don't lose it. Okay. Screen sharing has stopped as the shared window is closed. Okay, that worked out good. So, you know, for a long time I just thought, oh, it's this empathic thing. I came here, I'm an empath, I'm a star seed, whatever. Dolores Cannon says I'm a first wave volunteer. But this Guardian thing just hit home. And so it really, I mean, there's like the last week, it's just like I'm just giddy with this knowledge. It's like, oh my gosh, this makes so much sense. And right behind me, do you see Mists of Babylon by Marion Zimmer Bradley? A lot of us are just so attracted to anything that has to do with the Merlin or the King Arthur or, you know, the goddess. And a lot of us just love this book. And actually, I found this book after I saw the movie, which was years and years and years ago, but I never read the book. And one day it was like, I'd really like to find a copy of that book. And the very next day, I walked into our fire department, and they have a donation area where people just donate books. Yep, that book was there. So I donated $5 and got this book for $5. And it's on my nightstand. So, you know, that's another symptom. But so last night, I'm going to tell you about my dream. Okay, dreams. Here we go, back into dreams again. And last night, now, many of the Guardians who are doing work, you know, your body goes to sleep and you leave your body and you're out there helping the resistance or doing whatever it is you're called to do, which I think is really cool. A lot of the Guardians find that sometimes they sleep really soundly. And we've been having these horrible record winds up here in the mountains, the Colorado mountains. I mean, we had a windstorm, and they were saying went up to 110 miles an hour, and, you know, we had power outages, and barns are being blown away and stuff. And this house is a big barn that was restored into a house and, you know, living in something like that, the wind is even worse in here. And I would sleep like a baby through these windstorms. And I just was like, I never hear anything. I don't hear, I sleep so sound, except for once in a while I'll wake up at 3 o'clock. And that's another sign of anybody you know, in the waking phase or here to do a job. For some reason, we tend to always wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. So if you do, that's a good sign. Well, this past week, it's like I just sleep. I'm just dead. And I wake up in the morning and I'm just kind of like, I'm just refreshed. Well, last night I dreamt again that I had to go. My mission was to go and what I thought my mission was to go and help this boy. So I go in and I find this boy and I'm going to help him, take him away from wherever it is. And in comes another man. And then I soon realized it is a trap. And so I'm not afraid. And the reason I'll tell you why I wasn't this time, it was not that I had learned in my lucid dreams not to be afraid to fight. I have reclaimed my authority. And so many people that are here, like me, like us, to do this job, we need to claim our authority. And Alexandra Meters, that's what one of her messages were, to reclaim our authority. So in this dream last night, I remembered that. And I was just like, I was a little smug with this. And I remember a lot of us have done this before. And I was like, bring it, you know, just bring it. I'm not afraid. I am more than you because you're working for the dark. You are at a lower vibration. I'm working for the light. I have a higher vibration. Just kind of like in the movies where you wake up and you realize what's in front of you and it's like, you don't scare me anymore. Well, that's exactly what I did. And I remember toying with them, and I wanted to just know how far they would go or how much they could do. And I remember going to the top of this it was like a big mansion, like a 3-story, 4-story, huge mansion. And I remember going up to climbing up on the roof, jumping up on the roof. I just flew up there. And now in my waking state, I am afraid of heights. Terribly afraid of heights. And in this dream, I knew that I was afraid of heights. But because I had reclaimed my authority, I wasn't afraid anymore. I was a little bit afraid. It's like, oh, there was just a little bit inside of me, you know, where you kind of fight that. And I remember, okay, Denice, break out of this. So I envisioned myself breaking out of that fear pattern. And I went to the very top of this roof, this very steep, high roof. And I remember being up there going, even if I was to fall, I could just fly right out of here. I'm indestructible. If something happens, I'll come back. You know, when Cobra talks about the resistance, the light workers, how even if they are taken out, they can come right back. It's like the Gandalf thing. That's what's going on. I mean, it's just also fascinating. There's just so much. I mean, this is the greatest movie ever. Surpasses Lord of the Rings. So I'm up there and I'm watching them and they're like, what do I do? Do I go up there? And then I wake up. But I remember this dream so vividly. And I usually think I don't dream at night. And the reason that most of us do not remember our dreams when we are working, doing our work, our light work, whatever you want to call it, on the other side. The reason we wake up and do not remember our dreams is because we don't want to be found. They're always hunting us. You know, whether it's with scalar frequencies, whatever that word is, you know, the chimera and all their frequencies to keep us shut down. And, you know, I'm always careful of my light, you know. So that's the reason why a lot of us don't remember a lot of our dreams when we are actually working for the light, is we don't want to be found. And now, my husband, I'm sure he's a sleeping guardian, and I'm sure there's many sleeping guardians out there. I mean, he just fits the bill. He was a fighter. He was a fighter in high school. Remember those days? You know, we all go out party and then we end up fight. But he was always fighting for the underdog. Or if somebody was whacking around his girlfriend or his wife, he would get in the middle of it, and then usually the wife would be beating on him. Don't beat my boyfriend, you know, even though he was beating the crap out of her before. And he was like a accident attractant. Every time there was an accident where somebody needed to go in and support that person, or you know, do something to help that, he was the one that was there when everybody else would stand around. He was the one that would take action and not even think about, you know, getting blood on his hands and maybe getting hepatitis or AIDS. Remember that? Oh, don't touch anybody, you're going to get AIDS. And so, but he's still kind of asleep. He's a huge, huge heart. And I always wondered why I am awake. I'm a waking guardian and he's a sleeping guardian. Is because a long time ago, somebody said, you know, he took on the contract to support you so you could do your work. And he works at night, but during the day, he does not want to know who he is. He acts like who he is. I mean, he cannot help it, but he has that block because otherwise he could not support you, and they would find him. And here we have a guardian couple, which is double the trouble, double the energy, double the whammy, and they would really be targeting you. So this is why he has to stay asleep. So a lot of you people, you know, I think about this all the time. If you're in a relationship with someone and that person has angelic tendencies, even though they still watch football and even though they still want to eat meat, keep this in mind, because sometimes it is not for them to be awake in the third dimension as long as we're doing our work, because they cannot be found. So when I see all these spiritual people divorcing their couples, it kind of, for me, it goes against the grain of why we're here. I mean, if you can't save your significant other, who else can you save? You know, and I'm not talking about those who wake up and find out that their significant other is, you know, out doing satanic worship or you know, chicken fighting and killing, you know, the really nasty, dark stuff. No, you have to walk away from that. But if all your significant other is doing is watching football, he's working his ass off all day long and comes home and just wants to relax. And, you know, and my husband doesn't drink anymore. He doesn't drink. I mean, he got out of that matrix. But he still works his ass off. But he has a huge heart. And he will give the shirt off his back for anybody. And I think he's even better than myself. I think about it all the time because he is just where I tend to go, oh, that person. And he's just like, oh, whatever, you know, yeah. And he hates authority. And he can sniff out corruption. And in the mundane world, he's always after, you know, the corruptors. So if he doesn't act like he's awake, leave him alone. It's as it should be. So people, if you're in a relationship and your significant other is somewhat awake, you know, is a Reiki person, there's a lot of Reiki people out there who are not totally awake. Leave them be. Or, you know, so support them. So I do. I support my husband. And there's times when it was like, oh, I don't know. How can I deal with this? And something inside me, this guidance is always saying, no, you need to stay with this man. There's a reason, and it will all come out. And he is on the path. You might not see it. It's where he needs to be. So really, what do we know? What do we know but what is inside ourselves? So if you are with one of those people, do, you know, support them back. I mean, I take care of him. I mean, I'm always raking on him and always feeding him organic food. I mean, you know, I do. I just take care of him. So I just wanted to talk to you about this dream and how you can go in, people. You know, when you talk about lucid dreaming, oh, I tried that and it don't work. It don't work. You have to believe it'll work, and it will work. You will suddenly have a dream, and in that dream, you will take charge, and you will kick butt, and you will do what you need to do, and you'll wake up and you'll remember it. Just don't give up on it. Just remember it every night, and you will remember the dreams that you are supposed to remember, because there is a huge message for you. And this message, excuse me, this message from my dream was about people like us, people like me, standing in our authority and not being afraid to take hold of that. We've done this many lifetimes, and we've been burned at the stake, we've been drowned, we've been drawn and quartered, all of the above. I mean, you think about main characters or people, the Witch Inquisition and all that. Why? Why do you think they had that? They were trying to stop people like us because they knew who we were and why we were here. So, for all of you out there who are on this path, prevail. Do not give up, even if there's days where you're like, you know, I've had days where it was like, take me out of here now. I cannot do this. These people are not worth it. You know, I see some of the stuff that they do, and I cannot accept their mindless meanderings. And here I am trying to help these people, and they're turning around and stabbing a knife in our backs. And so I have periods where it's like, I cannot do this anymore. Take me out of here now. And it's, of course, you signed up for this. And that's another thing about Guardians. No matter how hard it is, we don't check out. We stay and complete our job. So I hope that this discussion has helped some of you, maybe shed some more light, make you remember a little bit more, inspire you. That's what I'm all about, inspiration. So, Lightworkers, Guardians, First Wavers, Empaths, Star Seeds, whatever you call yourself, don't give up. We are almost there. And stand in your authority and train in your dreams. Train to stop that darkness that is hunting you. It's not a scary thing, because as soon as you stand in your authority, and I've done this, I've been doing this for over 20 years, and I learned. I mean, I remember having a dream where the house was caving in, the darkness, my family and I were in the house, and the darkness around us was battering on the house. Now, I put the protection around, and they couldn't get in, but they wanted to collapse the house. And I remember in this dream just putting my hands out, and this strange incantation coming out. And I knew I was standing in my authority, and I was saying, no way. Kind of like the Gandalf thing, you shall not pass. It works, people. So that's my pep chat for this week. And stand in your authority, guys. I love all of you. And keep up the good work. And check out Alexandra, her website. She has a YouTube, Galactic Connections. And I think Adam Apollo has some Guardian things too that he can share. And he's even on her YouTube channel. So let's get busy, guys. We're almost there. Thanks.